Gun laws are fucking dumb. I am not a lawyer. I am not your lawyer. I am some idiot on the internet. None of this should be taken as me giving you legal advice. If you take this as legal advice, that's theft and I'm calling the police or something. I don't know. Again, I am not a lawyer. And before I get raided, I should make the following clear. I am not saying this means you should break the law. Moral does not mean legal, works both ways. Follow all local and national laws that apply, if for no other reason than the ATF would love to shoot your wife and then ask you the morning after what she had for breakfast. If you know, you know. I also like to say I'm a massive fucking nerd, but while I'm making this in good faith and with as much research as I can, this shit changes on a minute by minute basis. And again, I am not a lawyer. Cannot make that clear enough. There may be changes in the law by the time this is out, or if you're watching even a week or two in the future, the law may have changed, because what I'm talking about changes almost daily. Okay, so let's get into it. This is a pistol. This is a Glock specifically, but it's just a pistol. This is a rifle, and also a felony if you didn't pay the ATF a $200 tax. Now think about that. There's no real additional background checks. You aren't being extra safe. You're just paying the ATF $200 becausies, and suddenly the government decides that's a safe rifle. Well, as long as you don't leave the state, or shoot at a lot of public ranges, or do a lot of the things that you would do with a gun with it. This is a one-shot. It functions a lot like the last gun we saw when you use it in combination with a Glock. Has a lot of the same capabilities as a Glock with a stock on it, but it's not actually attached. The gun gets set into it, and under normal operation, it will rock into the stock, and you can pull them apart with your hand without much effort. It's a blade-like device that hangs out behind the gun, but because the legal definition of a stock includes that it's attached to the gun, this is completely legal. This?
Right to jail, right away.
But if I replace this piece with, say, this piece, it suddenly becomes legal again. This is not a stock. Now it is considered a brace, and it is designed to help people with various disabilities control a firearm. The fact that it happened to look like a stock and that you can use it like it's a stock is irrelevant to the legal proceedings. Why? Again, because laws are dumb. This...
I'm Special Agent in charge, Holly, and you are extremely under arrest.
Because your barrel length is shorter than 16 inches, the barrel is rifled, and that is a stock. Take the stock away, leave everything else, and buy it brand new like that, it's a pistol. And that's legal. You don't need a tax stamp for it. Now here's the proof that gun laws aren't for your safety. Physics is fun. So this is the basic formula of pressure. Pressure is force over an area. It's easy to explain if you think about it like a pipe. Do some simple math to figure out the amount of force in the pipe, figure out the area, and you've got the pressure in the pipe. Don't change the amount of force, but shrink the area, and the amount of pressure goes up. This makes sense intrinsically. You can do the same thing with your thumb and a sink or a hose. Make a smaller volume and the pressure goes up. Imagine for a moment someone defending their home in the chaotic nightmare situation that is a home invasion. They bring up an AR, and now imagine what happens with the two we just saw. The stock has a large flat surface to transfer recoil through, which gives the most amount of control for accurate shooting and faster follow-up shots. Removing it and leaving the buffer tube does, in the eyes of the ATF, create a pistol. You can have this without a tax stamp, but the removal of that stock reduces the amount of physical space contacting the person shooting it drastically. And therefore, the amount of pressure that is being applied to your shoulder is going to increase drastically. The ability to get back on the target for a second shot or onto the second target is significantly harder than with the first. That also means controlling where the shot goes generally is more difficult. The entire idea of this being safer is just a contradiction. It's not just length that we regulate without reason. Many states have magazine bans, and this is supposed to be a thing because, well, the founding fathers didn't know about what guns were going to be developed into, and the second was never about weapons of war. It's about hunting. First, that part about weapons of war. Our first Navy was privately owned. Anybody who was an American citizen and wanted to buy the era's equivalent of an attack helicopter would go buy one, go to the government, and pick up what was called a letter of marque and reprisal, essentially permission to be our first navy. Go fuck up the British for us, please, and thank you. If we're talking about what the Founding Fathers intended, I should be able to get an A-10 Warthog at the Fairchild Republic store. We're several steps below that. Secondly, those who want to talk about what the Founding Fathers knew, remember, they were military men, aware of the weapons of their age. So there are two weapons I want to introduce you to. This is the Girandoni air rifle, produced first in 1779, it has 42 rounds of elk-killing power in each recharge. This is the Cookson Volition repeating rifle. Or if you're Italian, it's a British Lorenzoni. They actually designed the system in 1650. It could fire 26 shots of 55 caliber ball before needing to be reloaded. It did this through a very cleverly designed system. See, inside the stock, there was a magazine of gunpowder and a magazine of bullets. Reloading involved cranking a crank on the side, which would grab a bullet, grab a bit of gunpowder, and shove both into the barrel. Pull the hammer back and you're ready to shoot. And you can do that 26 times before needing to reload. Think about that. That's 26 rounds, essentially a modern magazine. And this gun was invented 100 years before the founding of our country. More, even. Look, the world is complicated and weird, and I don't even know what is going to happen or the exact form of the threats we'll face as a community. But I do know whatever threat comes won't be looking for a fair fight. The world is not a fair fight. So please, I am begging you, be a hard target. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters. I really do appreciate it. I'm trying to make weekly videos a thing. If you want to be enjoying these on a weekly basis, it would really mean a lot to me if you could sign up for my Patreon. Lowest level is $1 a month. And you get access to the videos early, you get access to votes on what will be worked on in the future, and you generally get to keep the lights on and keep me doing this shit. So, yeah, thank you so much to my Patreons. That is going to be it, though. Stay dangerous, y'all. Keep each other safe. And remember, moral doesn't mean legal, and Stonewall was a riot. Peace.